Hello and welcome, dear students. How are you all? Dear students, please report your attendance and we are beginning right away. Centers, please report your attendance. I'm waiting for that. Okay. Yeah, I can see the students are sitting now. Yeah, okay. So everybody has come now. So please report your attendance now. Okay. Alright, so I'll begin. From where we left off last time, we had basically covered the algae part. Algae are of three types: Chlorophyta, phylum Chlorophyta, phylum Phaeophyceae. Basically, why do we do this? Because actually, phylum is converted into division. Okay, so I hope you remember that. So basically, this is division Chlorophyta, division Phaeophyceae, and division the Rhodophyceae. So algae are of three types basically: green algae, brown algae, and red algae, the subdivisions. Okay, and kingdom Planta, under that we have covered all the algae. So in the last class, we have done this part that the red algae, brown algae, and green algae. So we have covered that. Okay, regarding their pigments and everything, we have done a lot of questions also. So I hope you remember that. Okay, and now we'll today start with Bryophyta. And regarding Bryophyta, I told you that Bryophyta are basically present as green deposits on bark of trees, stem, etc. So can you recognize this image? I hope this is clearly visible to everybody, right? So you can see clearly here the Bryophyta. This is the type of thing I was talking about. On the left side image, this is the image. You can see these are Bryophyta growing on tree bark. Bryophytes or mosses growing on tree bark. Okay, and if you magnify them using a low power magnification microscope or just a simple convex lens, you will see this kind of thing: mosses under low magnification. Under low magnification, you will see them like this. Okay, so I hope this image is clear to everybody, right? I believe the chat is not working properly. Okay, so in a few minutes, you will be able to answer. I cannot receive chats at present, but I guess I can do that shortly. Okay. Alright, so please ask your coordinators to log into the chat box. That is why the chat is not appearing on my screen. So ask your coordinators if they are there to log in. Okay. Or you can just apply. If they are not coming, you can still reply to me on the box. Okay, sorry, the WhatsApp chat. Okay, hope that will do the trick. All right, so let me continue what I was trying to tell you about Bryophyta. So let me give you a quick recap of this. Okay. In the last class, we have covered basically algae. So this is a group of algae that they look very beautiful, right? So algae we have covered in the last class. So this is just a quick recap of the algae, the various types: the green algae, brown algae, red algae. Okay, so all these algae are here, right here. Okay. Chlorophyceae, Volvox is visible to you. Bioflagellate cells are visible to you. Okay. Cladophora, that comes under subdivision of Chlorophyceae only. Ulvas, ulva, please remember this. Ulva, please write in your textbooks. Common name of ulva is C. latis. Okay, C. lettuce is basically consumed by some people in Japan also. So you just write this name, that alwa is edible sea alga, marine alga, okay, and it is known by the name of C. lettuce, because 5 years ago there was a question that has been asked in your NEET examination, that edible sea alga, out of these, which of the following is edible sea alga eaten by some people in Japan as delicacy? Yeah, it seems it is quite tasty. So they have given this. Okay. So you can just write it down. Okay. Scientists, now you can report me your attendance. I believe the chat is online. So yeah, I can see you now. Okay. Just report your attendance, and just that will also confirm to me that your chat is working. Okay. So continuing. Anyone can do that who is sitting in the back. One is Pyrogyra. Okay. Slime molds sometimes included in that, but yeah, I forgot to delete that. All right. Chlorophyce is very visible. So now today we are going to study about Bryophyta. Bryophyta is divided into 3 subcategories: liverworts, hornworts, and mosses. But actually, in your NCERT, the division between hornworts and mosses is not very specific. But please try to remember, actually there are 3 categories. But in your NCERT, basically liverworts and mosses are the only 2 categories given. That is also okay. No audio. Okay. I think it's an issue on your end. All right. Please watch my lecture later if you cannot receive it. All right. I'll just continue here. So Bryophyta, basically they are the transition group between Chlorophyceae and the higher plants, okay, and they contain chloroplast also, grana also, and they require water for fertilization also. So that means they have flagellated cells in their life stage. And bryophytes also produce an embryo, so they are also called embryophytes. But algae did not produce embryo. Okay, algae did not produce embryo. And the land, like the other land plants, bryophytes have multicellular sex organs. Multicellular sex organs are formed. The basically parenchyma type cells are found there, and they are not filamentous. The zygote grows into embryo, okay, and they have a cutin-like thing on their surface. They have no lignin, so no woody structure is present any time in any Bryophyta, no exception. They are moisture-loving plants. No roots are there. Only root-like, stem-like, and leaf-like structures are present. Root-like, yeah, okay, I'll repeat what I had just said. What I was trying to tell you that in the last class we have covered algae, and algae, some questions that are asked. Okay, alva is called as sea lettuce. Sea lettuce has been asked in your previous year examinations, that the edible sea alga that is used as delicacy by people in Japan and China. What is the name of that alga? The name of that alga is sea lettuce, alva. That is shown here in this figure. Okay, so they say that it's very, it's a thing to eat. It's very tasty, they say. Anyway, so today we are going to start with Bryophyta. Bryophyta will be finished today also. Bryophyta has been subdivided into 3 categories, but NCERT these days has deleted hornworts. Actually, there are 3 categories only: lever-like organisms, horn-like organisms, and plant-like organisms. Liverworts look like lever-shaped thallus, liverworts. Horn-shaped thallus, horn-like structure. hornworts. Plant-like structure, but not plants exactly. Mosses. So there were 3 categories, but in NCERT, hornworts or Anthoceratopsida is basically deleted, and liverworts and hornworts are together studied as one category. Okay. So NCERT has not mentioned this, but it's okay. I'll teach you accordingly. Okay, so no worries there. So we'll just study liverworts and mosses. Hornworts, no special need to pay attention to it. Okay. All right. So continuing, the transition of algae, which are basically aquatic plants, to the land plants. In between them, bryophyta are coming. So they represent a transitional group. They represent a transitional group. Okay, and transitional group is basically seen by them. Okay, all right. Because they do not have wood-like structure, but they are having structures which help them to survive in water, like flagella. Flagella is supposed to help the male gamete swim towards the female gamete. Also, they have embryo. Very important character of bryophyta is they develop embryo. So they are also called embryophyta. They are also called embryophyta. Bryophyta have evolved from green alga. And regarding this, a very important question is asked that I will explain later. A very important question that is asked is, what is the life cycle stage that resembles green alga? Answer is protonema. But I'll explain that later, what is protonema. What do bryophytes have? They have multicellular sex organs and enclosed by a sterile jacket of cells. Bryophytes are parenchymatous. Okay. And they develop zygote into embryo. They do not have any lignin. Lignin is the wood structure. Woody structure is not present. No roots, only filamentous rhizoids are present. Okay. And the bryophytes are only land plants to have a dominant gametophyte. Now these are the important terms that are going to begin from this chapter regarding the life cycle of bryophyta. Okay, so let's start with the general characters of bryophyta, and then we'll begin with the notes part. A lot of things need to be done. So please write the general characters first. What are bryophytes? It is clear. Everybody has seen this. Everybody has seen these mosses like structure. They are present on trees, they are present on stones in moist areas. Everybody, I believe, has seen these. Okay. So bryophytes are seen by everybody. Say yes. I'm sure everybody must have seen this. In the last class, last week, I was asking you that have you seen bryophyta? So nobody was very sure. I had shown you this kind of diagram, but nobody was sure that, sir, whether they have seen it or not. So now you see this. If you see it under low magnification, you will see the right kind of image. Okay. All right. So let me give you the characters of bryophyta, then we'll complete the life cycle of bryophyta, and then we'll move on to the next plant group. So, first statement you should write is, bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom. Please write now. Bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom. Bryophytes are called amphibians of plant kingdom. Okay. And why they are called amphibians of plant kingdom? Because they are living in the soil, but even though they are living in soil, they are also depending on water. Okay, because they live in soil, but require water for sexual reproduction. Require water for sexual reproduction. But they require water for sexual reproduction. All right. Next point. Please keep on writing quickly. Habitat of bryophyta. Where are they found? Found in damp conditions mostly. Damp, humid, shaded regions. Damp, humid, shaded region. Okay. Now you understand why they are found on the bark of trees, because that represents a shady area, and it's also damp also. Humidity depends on the humus, so it's always kind of wet there. Okay. This is their habitat. Okay. Next thing is habit. What do they look like? So the plant body of bryophytes, habit, the plant body of bryophytes, is some more differentiated than algae, Okay, is more differentiated than algae. Also, it is thallus-like. It is thalloid body. And now I need to distinguish what is thallus. Thallus means no differentiation between root, stem and leaf. No differentiation between root, stem and leaf. This is an important point about thallus. Now there is a need of defining two terms. Actually 4 terms are there. One is haplontic, other is diplontic. Third term is gametophyte, fourth term is sporophyte. Please remember, from plant kingdom, one question will definitely come at least. In your school exams also you will see a lot of questions regarding what is sporophyte, what is gametophyte, these type of questions. So now I am taking a pause. I want you to focus on these terms that I am going to define now. So this page, just mark it differently from the other pages. Some technical terms or biological terms. related to plant life cycle. Four terms are there in all. One is gametophyte, a very important term. Gametophyte. Gametophyte means that part in the life cycle of the plant which is able to make gametes. Okay? The plant body which is able to make gametes is called gametophyte. Okay? Then there is another term called sporophyte. The gamete producing generation of a plant is known as gametophyte. It represents one of the two alternating phases in plant life cycle. Meaning, this will always alternate with the other phase, which is going to be sporophyte. One of the two alternating phases in the plant life cycle. The other phase is sporophyte. Next, we will write about sporophyte. What is sporophyte? What is sporophyte? Okay. So what is sporophyte? What is sporophyte? Can you guess? Okay, I'll just write it down. The gamete producing phase is called gametophyte. So you can just simply write the spore producing generation. The definition is very simple. The spore producing generation of a plant is known as sporophyte. It represents one of the two alternating phases in the plant life cycle. It represents one of the two alternating phases in plant life cycle. So you can see the definition is quite easy. If you want to write the definition, it is quite easy in the plant life cycle. Now there is another term called haplontic phase and diplontic phase. So this is one part. Sporophyte and gametophyte is one part. Then there is two more definitions. One is called haplontic phase and the other is called haplontic and diplontic life phase. Haplontic life cycle and diplontic life cycle. Please write the next term. Haplontic. What is haplontic? What is diplontic? Okay. Haplontic means haplontic is a term in the biological life cycle. The term haplontic refers to that part of plant life cycle which is having haploid number of chromosomes. Haploid number of chromosomes. Similarly, there is a term called diplontic. Diplontic refers to that plant of life cycle which is having diploid number of chromosomes. Diplontic means part of life cycle okay. I will also show this to you, do not worry, which is having diploid number of chromosomes. So basically we have to just consider the number of chromosomes. So these are the four terms that were essential. These were the four terms that we needed to know. Now there is another thing called alternation of generations. Write the next term. Alternation of generation. Alternation of generation is of three types: sporophytic type, gametophytic type, okay, and the third part is basically when you cannot determine whether it is sporophytic or gametophytic. So basically I'll discuss this in the last when I finish the chapter, because NCERT also follows the same pattern, so I'll follow the same thing. But knowledge of these terms is essential. First of all, you must understand these terms, then only you can solve it. So knowledge is very important. Knowing is important. Next thing is plant life cycle pattern. So that also I will discuss later. So right now, these terms you needed to know. Now we need to understand about sporophyte, gametophyte, and a lot of other things. So I hope this is clear. It is clear to everybody what these four terms mean. I'll also show them to you. Alright, so let's move on. What I want to show you basically is the life cycle of and the division of bryophyta. Next point, please write. Bryophytes are subdivided into following categories. What are those categories? One is leverworts, other is mosses. Okay. One is leverworts, other is mosses. So first of all, we'll study about leverworts, then we'll study about mosses. Okay. Next, a few points about bryophyte in general characters of bryophytes. Bryophytes are not true land plants, and they have leaf-like, stem-like, and root-like structures. Root-like structures. What does this mean? True organs are plant organs are absent. True plant organs are absent. They have these kind of structures, but true root, stem and leaf are absent. True leaf, stem and root are absent. True leaf, root and stem are absent. Only leaf-like, stem-like, root-like structures are present. Next thing is, the main plant body of Bryophyta is haploid. The main plant body of bryophytes is haploid. Okay. So they have single number of chromosomes. Also, bryophytes have multicellular sex organs. Bryophytes have multicellular sex organs. Multicellular sex organs. Multicellular sex organs means basically they have this arrangement, okay, and number of cells divide continuously to form gametes, so they are called multicellular sex organs. Now we have to write about male sex organ and female sex organ. Male sex organ is called antheridium. Antheridium. And female sex organ is called archegonium. Okay. Also, now we can basically study the life cycle of bryophyta. Now we can study the life cycle of bryophyta. and also the basically we can also study the subdivisions of bryophyta. Okay. Life cycle of general bryophyta. Please put the heading. Life cycle of bryophytes. Everybody has written this, right? If you leave this, let me know. If anything is left out, let me know. Alright, so let me insert a few things here. Alright. Wait a second. Okay, so alright. So yeah, here it is. Yeah. This is the life cycle of bryophytes that I was talking to you about. Okay. And this basically tries to, of the same bryophyte, we are studying this here. Give me a second. Okay. So now it is clearly visible to everybody. Okay. Bryophytes have two types of branches. One is called male branch, one is called female branch. On the male branch, male sex organ will develop. On the female branch, the female sex organ will develop. So see this here. See this here. Male gametophyte can be found separately also. Female gametophyte can be found separately also. Their separation is also possible, or it is also possible that they are found on the same plant. So there are two cases that can happen. Either they are separate or they are found in the same plant. So if we consider the male gametophyte forms antheridium, okay, and on this antheridium the male gametes will be produced. These male gametes are called sperms or antherozoids. Antherozoids. If it is not clear, I'll write it again. Antherozoids or zooids or sperm. Same thing. Antherozoids are motile, they have flagella, and they will swim in the water current to reach the archegonium which has egg cell. Reach the archegonium which has egg cell. On reaching the egg cell, it will fertilize it, it will form the egg. Egg will, please tell me the ploidy of egg, whether it is haploid or it is diploid. Sperm is N, egg is N. What will be the ploidy of egg cell? Ploidy means number of set of chromosomes. Anybody? It will be 2n. It will be 2n. This 2n egg cell which has been formed, actually look, egg is actually, sorry, one second. Egg has actually haploid cell, sorry. Egg is N, sperm is N. Egg is formed by mitosis. Sperm is also formed by mitosis. When they will fuse together, this is called fusion or fertilization event. Then embryo is formed. Embryo will be 2n. First of all, actually, the first cell that is formed, it is called zygote. The first cell of this generation is actually called zygote. So actually it must be written here, zygote. I am cutting it here. Zygote. Zygote is diploid cell. First diploid cell generation is zygote. It grows into embryo. And embryo grows into the mature plant, but there is a thing. Here meiosis will happen. Okay, so let's see how this is happening, how this process is occurring. The bryophyta life cycle. So everybody can see the diagram here. So we are going to start from antheridium. Antheridium. Antheridium is produced on the male branch. And the other thing is archegonium. It is developed on the female branch. Both antheridium and archegonium are going to produce gametes. This is the male sex organ. This is the female sex organ. When they fuse together, they will form zygote. Zygote is having the ploidy of 2n. Zygote grows into embryo. Embryo grows into sporophyte. Now I must define to you what is sporophyte. Anything which produces spore is called sporophyte. Anything which produces gamete is called gametophyte. So can you identify the gametophytes and sporophytes in this image? Can you identify the gametophytes and sporophytes in this image? Yes? Can you identify the sporophyte and gametophyte on this image? Okay, let me change my question. Is antheridium a part of gametophyte or sporophyte? I'll change my question. Is antheridium a part of gametophyte or sporophyte? Antheridium will be a part of gametophyte. Why? Now let me help you understand all this. Yeah, this seems a bit typical. Try to understand the thing is, spore producing organ is called sporophyte and gamete producing structure is called gametophyte. Sporophyte is being produced here. Here. This thing is producing the spore. So what is producing the spore? Sporophyte. Where is sporophyte developing? From the embryo. So what is going to the ploidy of sporophyte? 2n. But when it is going to produce spore, there is a process called meiosis. Meiosis cell division. Meiosis cell division is reduction division. It results in the halving of number of chromosomes. Chromosome number will become exactly the half. So when it is going to become the half, so you can say safely, because chromosome number has become half, it is kind of reduction division. So if it was, embryo was 2n, and before meiosis it was 2n, but after meiosis has happened, it will be haploid only, single n. Spores fall on the ground surface, moist ground. They germinate into protonema. This protonema is filamentous green structure. Filamentous green structure. So I told you, I will tell you that I had asked you a question. Which structure in the plant life cycle of Bryophyta resembles green alga? Answer is protonema. Resembles alga. So algal ancestry of Bryophyta is proved by which stage presence? Presence of protonema stage. So you have to draw this image. You can draw. I can give you these notes also. Okay, and this PPT also you can take it from me. So I hope that does your work for the most part. Okay, so please write now quickly. The plant life cycle starts with production of male and female sex organs. Male and female sex organs. Male sex organ is called antheridium. Is called antheridium. And develops by mitosis. Also, gametes are also formed by mitosis. Male gametes are also formed by mitosis. Male gametes are also formed by mitosis. Also formed by mitosis. Female sex organs is called archegonium, and it gives rise to female sex gametes or egg cell by mitosis cell division only. Female sex organ is called archegonium. And develops by mitosis. It is itself formed by mitosis, and it gives rise to female gamete also by mitosis. It also forms female gametes or egg cell by mitosis. Female egg or female gamete okay, that is the thing. Fusion of both gametes takes place by water, help of water. Both gametes takes place by help of water. Takes place by help of water. So because of that, there is amphibious plant habit. That is why it is called amphibians of plant help of water. Male gametes are flagellated, motile, and swim in water. Motile, flagellated, and swim towards female gamete okay. After fertilization, zygote is formed. After fertilization, zygote is formed. Zygote is diploid. Zygote 2n is formed, and it grows to form embryo. Grows to form embryo, and it develops into as spore inside sporophyte, spore capsule. Okay, so let me play this now again. Right? So embryo, sporophyte. Now there is a very important question here. Does sporophyte depend on anything else or not? Does sporophyte depend upon anything else or not? What is sporophyte dependent upon? Now you must write some things about sporophyte, because they are a very important subtopic of bryophyta. Sporophyte of bryophyta. Sporophyte of bryophyta. It is divided into three main parts: foot, seta, and capsule. It is divided into three parts: foot, seta, and capsule. Foot, seta, and capsule. Foot absorbs nutrition, seta transports it to the capsule, and capsule has the main function of forming spores by meiotic cell division. Because sporophyte, every part of sporophyte is diploid. Write this as the next statement also. Every part of sporophyte is diploid. Every part of sporophyte is diploid. Sporophyte is diploid. Okay, there is some issue with this. it is diploid. But when meiosis is going to happen, the diploid spore will be changed, diploid spore mother cells will be changed into haploid cells. Next point. In the spore capsule, there are some cells called spore mother cells. Spore mother cells which undergo meiosis to form spores. Which undergo meiosis to form spores. Form spores. Okay. Now finally we have the spore. Spore germinates on moist land. Spore germinates on moist land to give rise to filamentous protonema. Filamentous protonema. Now protonema can be of many types: primary, secondary, tertiary. When moss undergoes fragmentation, it forms many multiple fragments. All these multiple fragments grow into fresh plants, fresh filaments, fresh protonema. This protonema is again scattered by the wind action into new partitions. So primary gives say about 100 secondary protonema. Secondary protonema will give basically about 10,000 protonema or new cells from just a single sample. Okay, so this is about protonema. Now protonema is the only structure in the plant cell which resembles or proves presence of protonema in bryophyta life cycle. Protonema presence of protonema proves that bryophyta have algal ancestry. Bryophytes have algal ancestors. Their ancestors are in algae. This is a very important point for your board examinations and everywhere. A very important point. So basically life cycle is alternating between sporophyte, then gametophyte, again sporophyte, then gametophyte. Now which is dominant? Which is the dominant life cycle? Gametophyte. So this is why we call alternation of generation of mosses as gametophytic type alternation of generation. Gametophyte forms the main plant body. Forms the main plant body. Main plant body. And is present for longer duration. And is present for longer generation. Is called gametophytic alternation of generation. Okay, my writing is becoming a bit blagged at this point. They have algal ancestors. Also, you can write the gametophyte is main plant body, while sporophyte is present for shorter duration of time. While sporophyte is present for shorter duration. While sporophyte is short-lived generation. So you can say here that sporophyte is alternating with gametophyte, but alternation of generation becomes gametophytic type. Alternation generation I will teach you in the last. Alternation of generation I will teach you in the last. So let us take a look at this part again. Okay. Mosses have 10,000 species, liverworts have 6,000, and hornworts are basically not so much important, so I have not covered it. Because hornworts are not mentioned in your NCERT, so I have not covered it here. Liverworts. Liverworts about 6,000 species. They have two forms, thalloid forms, leafy form. Liverwort leaf basically has oil bodies also, and entire surface is absorptive. Some root-like structure like rhizoids are present. Okay. Basically, this is their theory. One example of bryophyta in liverworts is Markantia. Markantia grows near river banks. So it is a thallose liverwort. Asexual reproduction occurs with the help of gamete. Please underline this part. Gamete is very, very important. Asexual reproduction by the formation of gamete. Gamete has been asked many times. Gamete are formed in gamma cup. Gamete are formed in gamma cup. This is a gamma cup. Gamma cup. It contains many small gamete. Or gamma. So this is how Markantia looks like. Have you seen these kind of small, very small plants on the river bank? And this is a gamma cup. This is a gamma cup. Have you seen this? Look, Northeast is rich in water resources. You have a lot of waterfalls, small streams, puddles, banks, etc. Have you seen this? I'm not sure if you have, because it requires some attention. These are very small, so I'm sure you must have not paid attention so much to the details. So, Markensia shows gamma cups in which gamma formed, and they are a very major form of reproduction. Okay. After liverworts, we come to mosses. Mosses have leafy form. They have multicellular rhizoids. They also have stomata and dioecious. Okay. Male and female gametophytes are separate also, and sometimes on same also. Okay. So yeah, I'll give you this also later. Also, liverworts and mosses, they can be confused sometimes, but the difference is liverworts do not have a midrib, but mosses have midrib. Mosses have multicellular rhizoid, and liverworts have unicellular rhizoid. Capsules are different, and leaves are having different phenomena. The most important of bryophytes is a plant called sphagnum. Okay, so sphagnum you must have seen here any time. It is used in plant pots, flower pots. There you can see it. Okay. So basically this is about mosses. So let me continue here. What are liverworts and what are mosses? The bryophytes are divided into, next heading, the bryophytes are divided into liverworts and mosses. Okay. Now let's write about liverworts. Liverworts. So what are liverworts? They have a lever-like appearance, hence called liverworts. They have a lever-like appearance. Hence called liverworts. They have a lever-like appearance, hence called liverworts. Where are they found? They are found in damp soil, bark of trees, forest, etc. Habitat found on bark of trees. Found on bark of trees, shady areas, etc. Okay. Alright, so time is nearly over. I think I'll just finish it quickly. So please see the life cycle here. I'll just finish it quickly. That is more important. Now see carefully. Archegonium is a multicellular sex organ. Anthridium is a multicellular sex organ. Both are multicellular and they are producing some structure. Now there is one more thing. Anthridium and Archegonium, both are suspended in water. When water is present, then Anthridium is going to swim towards Archegonium. But the question becomes, how will the Archegonium know that the Anthridium is coming, or how will Anthridium swim towards Archegonium only and not any other structure? The reason is chemotaxis. Male gamete is attracted to the female gamete surrounding areas, associated chemicals which tell it the direction in which it has to approach the female gamete. Based on the receptive of nature of these chemicals, it can find its way. Okay, so chemotaxis helps in fertilizing the female gamete, forms a zygote, embryo, and Archegonium. Okay, so this is how it basically happens. Alright, so this is about Bryophyta. Let me continue. Mosses. And one more thing, examples of liverworts. Example of liverworts, let us complete that part. Example of liverworts. Example of liverworts are, I think you should do it. Examples. This is your homework. At least try to complete this. Okay. And draw the life cycle of Bryophyta in your copies. The next time we meet, I want you to do at least this part. Okay. So this, I wanted to teach you more, a few things about mosses. For example, mosses are being used in, after the World War, there is a moss called sphagnum, peat moss. So it has antibiotic properties. Actually, it produces antimicrobial chemicals, acidic in nature. So it was used as bandage material for World War II patients. Okay, whoever was wounded, they used to, because bandage was very short, so even cotton was very short, so they used to take sphagnum only, and sphagnum was put on the wounds directly, and sphagnum can grow by itself, so that becomes a very good substance that you do not need to have Dettol or Savlon or something like that. So when in World War II, the supply of some first aid chemicals was shortage, it was fulfilled with the help of sphagnum. Sphagnum also has an economic importance in because it is acidic in nature. It keeps on piling one layer over the other. Over time, it gets fossilized, and it is called peat. Peat is used as a basically it is used in the form of what should I say? Alternative fossil fuel. Okay, it basically acts as an alternative fossil fuel. And bryophytes are also important. Mosses are also important in reclaiming the soil, the barren rock surface. It is called secondary succession. After lichen, Bryophyta grows. So all these things, they will take some time. I'm not sure I can do this in this 2-3 minutes. So dear students, travel back home safely. I'll see you in the next class. And in that time, a small thing remains in Bryophyta. So in the next class, we'll finish Pteridophyta and Gymnosperms. We'll try to finish it. Gymnosperm, I'm not sure because it will take some time. But Pteridophyta will definitely finish in the next class. Bryophyta and Pteridophyta will finish in the next class. So thank you. I'll see you in the next class. And regarding these notes, when the chapter will finish, I'll give you them. Okay. Thank you. Good night. Travel back home safely.